It is super humid. It's been raining a bit, and then the sun comes out, and it's actually probably 2, 3, 4 degrees hotter than it normally is at this time. Late March, early April, it's usually cooler. That's not the case. It's still pretty hot and really humid. So I've had a big day, went to the range, and I'll tell you all about it. But I'm having a drink of Kirin Megumi, or the Australian version of it. See, I screwed up. Typically, when I buy an imported beer, I want an imported beer. Imported, but no. What I got, I screwed up. I got beer brewed and bottled in Australia under license from Kirin Brewery Company. So, I have got the Australian brewed version of Kirin. So I don't know what real Kirin, well I do. I can't remember. It was a long time ago since I actually drank real Kirin. Kirin is, it's got a dragon. Where's the dragon? And that's the symbol. And Kirin is the mythological Japanese dragon. But anyway, I'll tell you what it tastes like. I don't know what, I think Kirin Brewery was established by the British, or was influenced in being established by the British. So this is not British beer. This is, and back then when it was established, beer like this didn't exist. So, namely Pilsner, which is just a copy of. It tastes like a Dutch lager, really. That one's a little bit warm now, but when it's really chilled, it tastes like a swing top lager, a la Grolsch or Amstel. Not quite. It's got really crisp, but with quite a full-on bitterness. So yeah, tastes like a Dutch lager. Yeah. Now, so I made up a heap of ammo with the Remington brass that I've got, 100 rounds, pardon me. I made up a heap of ammo for the Martini Enfield clear, and the trigger on this is not too bad. I think I've said that before. And with the Cellier and Bellow shit brass, I had 50 rounds, yeah, something like that, 50 rounds for the Lee Enfield. Now, for the Lee Enfield, I was using the Cellier and Bellow crap brass, and I originally said it was crap because a quarter to a third of the cases had a line, a thinning, a ring, a thinning inside the case, near the case head. Now, when I was at the shop last, I was talking to one of the guys there about it, and he said, oh, yeah, you know, the old Enfields, they'll have some pretty crap chambers in them, and you will get that happening. And I said, yeah, but that doesn't explain the fact that I've got 2/3 to 3/4 of the cases where that thinning hasn't occurred. And he went, oh, okay. And I went, it's the brass, it's shit. And he was like, I said, look, I'm not complaining about it, I'm just letting you know, okay? This S&B brass is shit. Well, I found something else out. After I'd tumbled, this is my process for rejuvenating the brass. I decap. Once I've decapped, this is after it's been fired, right? I decap, I put it through the wet tumbler, then I size it, right? and then I put it through the wet tumbler again, so there's no residue of anything in there. Right, so it's 100% clean. I'm pretty fussy about that. So that's once fired brass. After I've previously, whether it's once fired brass or new brass, I'll uniform the flash holes and chamfer inside and out on the case mouth. But anyway, I've what I'll do before I size, I anneal. So now I've gone to the Eric Cortina method, which is annealing after every firing, because it doesn't hurt it. Alright, it can only help. Yes, it's an extra process, but it's going to make your brass last a lot longer, and you're not going to get split necks, which I've never had anyway. But anyway, so I've gotten the brass to the point where I've primed it. Before I prime, I'll expand the case mouths, and I'll tell you why I do that. Some people say, "Oh, what, for rifle ammo? You're expanding the case mouths?" And I said, "Yes, flaring the case mouth, because I'm using flat-bottomed, flat-based projectiles. Okay, it's very, very hard to, sit them on there. They just fall off if you don't expand, if you don't flare the case mouths. So anyway, I'm flaring the case mouths, and I just use a Lee case expander, universal case expander. Anyway, and I'm looking at it, and like the flaring is not even all around. It's a lot on one side and a little on the other. Of the round mouth, and I'm looking at it and going, man, this case expander must be a piece of crap. But I don't ever recall having. It just didn't click. I'm not that intelligent. So anyway, I just ignored it and just kept expanding them. Then I'd loaded them up with powder, seated the bullets in, crimped them, and I've got a Sinclair concentricity gauge checker tool. Well, guess what? There's a reason why that flaring was lopsided, is because those case necks are clearly just completely out of concentricity, out of whack. So badly that, like, I was measuring the concentricity on the projectile about 4 millimeters from the case mouth, and I shit you not, the run out was like almost, with the exception of five cartridges that were under about 5,000ths run out. All the rest were between about 15 to 30 thousandths run out. No bull. I think I shot them all off because I just wanted to get rid of them. That's the Martini Enfield. That's it there. S&B. No, I've still got some. Man, I mean, like, you can actually see it. Just by doing that, I can see how far out of whack those projectiles are. No bullshit. Typically between 15 and 30, or a little bit less, a little bit more, thou run out. That brass is just shite. So, if you are here in Australia anyway, if you are looking to buy, or even anywhere, I don't know, if you are looking to buy 303 brass, my advice is stay away from the Cellier and Bellow brass. You know what? I love their ammunition. Through my 270s, their ammunition was spot on. It was excellent. Through the 17 Hornet, the S&B ammo was almost on par with the Hornady Superformance. Almost on par, not far off. So I love their ammo, but the actual brass, it's not worth a pinch of shit. Alright, sorry. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it's made in Czech Republic, which surprises me. Typically, Czech made, anything made in Czech Republic is usually quality. Yeah, I don't know who's making the brass, but yeah, they should stop doing it. Like Olin should stop doing it too. Yeah. Anyway, so I wanted to let you know that S&B brass is not only do you have thinning of the wall near the. It must have already been thin. I mean, after one firing, to get that thin, where I actually had a case head separation after once fired. Yeah. So stay away from the brass. Just don't buy it. They're probably gonna, Cellular and Bellow are probably gonna sue me, but I don't give a shit. It's the truth. I can prove it. I can show you. I'm not in the business of talking bullshit. You know, I'm gonna say it how it is. If I shoot a weapon and it's a friggin' hose, I'll say it. It's shooting like a hose. If I shoot, and actually, here's that S&B case with the case head separation. Once fired. That's bullshit. Alright. That's what prompted me to actually check to see if there was a thinning, and yeah, there was. Once fired cases, nah. That's not good enough, S&B. Cellular and Bellow, alright? That's bullshit. So anyway, my Cellular and Bellow brass rant. So anyway, I went to the range and with the Martini Enfield, I was using a Remington brass, which is okay. Yeah, don't have a problem with it. It's not ridiculously, pardon me. It's not ridiculously out of concentricity. So there's a couple of projectiles that I used. I had some Hornady, what are they called? Hornady soft point interlock, which looks like an SST, and let's see that. But so that's Martini Hornady 50 meters. This is so I went out to 50 meters, and I'll show you how I managed to do that. Previously, I did it only at 25 because I couldn't see, right? But I'll show you the little device. I'll give you a review of it. So this is at 50 meters with the Hornady interlock. 46 grains of AR2209, correct? Correct. I think I might go a bit less because it does shoot a fair bit high, and it does push the primers out because obviously the head spacing on this thing, it's just sloppy. So I'm going to go a bit less. I might even go down to like 40 grains, down from 46. So that's 1.156 inches. So that's just over an inch at 50 meters. So technically, if you were to do the mathematics, you would say, well, all right, you're shooting with iron sights, pretty crap iron sights. You're shooting this 2 MOA. Now, there are modern, brand new rifles that shoot about 2 MOA, right? But this barrel was put on this rifle in 1895, and it's a horror story. The bore is a horror story, but yeah, amazing. Yeah. Unbelievable. Now this one here, so this is 5 shots, but obviously one bullet went through, I think it's gone through that hole. 2 bullets have gone through that hole. So you've got 4 at about 1.2, then there's one flyer. That's fair enough, which would have blown it out to a shitload. So that's the Hornady as well. Then what else have I got that's Martini related? Because I'm really happy with this Martini, it's unbelievable. So this is the Spear Hot Cores, same 46 grains of hydrogen 4350 AR2209, with the Remington cases, CCI, whatever it is, 400 or 200 or whatever it is, large rifle primers. 150 grain. All of these projectiles are 150 grain. So this is about 1.3. Not bad. Not bad at all. Now this one, oh man, I was spewing. So I've got 1, 2, 3. I've got 3 rounds. No shit. I've got 3 rounds at about just over half an inch. Then the 4th pushes it out to about 0.8 of an inch, and then I've got a flyer, and the flyer pushed it out to 1.6, 1.7. But I've got 3 rounds there that were a half an inch. This old girl, I tell ya, bloke on the range. Not so much bloke on the range, because I don't think I've ever seen bloke on the range use a martini. Probably, I've forgotten his name now. Yeah, that Canadian guy. You know, the Canadian guy who dresses up with the whole bit and everything. Yeah. I gotta tell you, buddy, these things are fantastic. I love this thing. And I saw another one for sale. Yeah, later, down the track. Have I got anything else martini related? Yes, I do. So this target is actually the first shots, and it was pretty strung out. That's a 1.6, and that one is about 1.4 without the flyer. With the flyer, yeah, just over 2. So that was the first firing. Nothing flat. That was the first firing. No, that was the first firing actually. So that was not too bad. And then that one, yeah, sort of strung out. But these here, yeah, amazing, truly amazing. So that quantity stuff was promising, but these soft cores, these hot cores, spear hot cores, are just are mind blowing, really mind blowing. So anyway, that that cellular and bellow cased ammo that I made for this old girl, the Enfield #1 Mark 1, yeah, that concentricity just, I don't know how much of an impact that had, but it couldn't have been good. You know, that much run out, like 30 thousandths run out, where you can just twirl the thing in your hand like that and you can see that the projectile is like totally on the piss. But anyway, I'll show you. So I only shot a couple of groups because I could see that it was a pile of shit. So this one here, like I had 2 rounds, 0.3 of an inch, 2 rounds, less than about 0.3 of an inch, 1 in the middle in between them, and all together, which is really weird, and all together, yeah, about 2.2. And the other group, you know, I've got 3 there at 0.8, and then 2 flyers, which blew it out to 1.7. So, yeah, that's what it is. I'm not going to bullshit. I have absolutely no doubt. Well, that's not true. I am of the firm belief that once I get decent brass for this thing, because I've kept all the Remington for my beloved Martini Enfield, but I also love, don't worry baby, I also love you. For this one, I was using the Celery and Bellow, and bad move. The S&B, like I said, is a pile of shit. So I've actually from what's it called Rebel Gunworks here in Queensland, down south. I have on order. Luckily, they had or have. Maybe I shouldn't tell you, so you go and buy it all. Rebel Gunworks has got Hornady brass, 303 brass, which I haven't seen anywhere else before. So I went ahead and snapped up 100 cases, and also from Rebel I also ordered an RCBS 2-die set, because Lee's stuff is okay, but you know what? You get what you pay for, and I think that the RCBS, no, was it RCBS? No, sorry, Hornady Custom Dies. That's right, Hornady Custom Dies, and I do like the Hornady Custom Dies. They've got that internal sleeve that drops down, so it lines up the projectile really well. I like that. So I've got a set of Hornady Custom Dies coming, and 100 cases of Hornady brass for the 303, which I'll use for this. But this stock, man, I've got to do some serious repair because it's just cracked. Yeah, it's got a massive crack there. You know, I can't remember that Canadian guy's name. Actually, Rifle Chair reckoned that it was still, the Lee Enfield was still the best bolt action rifle ever conceived, designed. That's bullshit. Really? Come on, Rifle Chair. How can you say that? Honestly. I mean, how many commercial manufacturers, or how many Lee Enfield bolt design rifles are currently being made? I know I've laboured this point, but I think I need to make it again. The zero, okay? No one is using the Lee system. Zero. Someone's ringing me. I can ignore that. Whereas, and I've said this before, how many companies are using the Mauser or modified Mauser design? Shitloads. There probably is not, probably every bolt action design today owes something, at least something, to the Mauser design. Alright? And Mauser clones are still being made, and Mauser are still making Mausers. You know, that photo, the Voair, that's a Mauser. My Ruger Scout, 77 Scout, hey, that's a Mauser, modified. My CZ457, that's a Mauser, slightly modified. Let's see, what else have I got that's a Mauser? You know, so to make a claim that the Lee Enfield design is the best bolt action design ever is sorry, but you know, you have to analyse the facts, and the facts are that nobody's making that design anymore. It stopped being made in India. The Indians kept making it in 7.62 by 51 NATO. I'm not sure, I don't know, they might still be making it in 7.61, 7.60 by 51 NATO, but it's, compared to the Mauser design, it's a much weaker action. I mean, let's on it. I mean, I love this thing. I love this Lee Enfield, but the fact of the matter is that the Lee Enfield action is much weaker than the Mauser design. You know, I don't know anyone who's loaded 458 Win Mag into a Lee design action, and you're not going to see it. Whereas that was the other one that I forgot, the Zastava, which is a Mauser 98 clone. I've got a Zastava in 458 Win Mag. I don't think there's a person on earth who would be stupid enough to actually load 458 Win Mag into one of these. Yeah, that would be suicidal. So, you know, and so many country nations copied that design, and I mean, you know, the United States with the 1903 Springfield. Hey, guess what? They got sued by Germany. They got sued by Mauser because they copied the Mauser action, and they also got sued for copying the 3003, or what became later the 30-06. They got sued for that too, because that was a rip-off of the 7x57 Mauser round, so, which didn't go anywhere because the First World War started, and the American went and flipped the bird, and yeah, so, and you know, the Japanese, possibly one of the best Mauser clones ever designed was the Arisaka, the Japanese Arisaka. Really, really sturdy, good rifle, and made from CNR Arsenal. Rated that from the First World War series, rated that as the best rifle of the First World War, the Arisaka, or the nth model, whatever it was, Meiji something or other, I don't know. So yeah, Mauser's a superior design. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. As much, and I don't have an ex-military Mauser. I will eventually, but you know, I love this rifle. The magazine works fantastic, but this design is, you know, I mean, you got, realistically, you got. Well, is that really a locking lug? You got bugger all holding this bolt back forward. Essentially one, or is that a lug? Sort of, yeah. There's not much. So, yeah, anyway, so that's the update. Oh, yeah, almost forgot. What I was employing to be able to shoot it out to 50 metres, it was even a struggle shooting it to 25 metres because of my eye condition. Astigmatism, which is where your eyeball goes out around, and then at distance, you know, you get ghosting and it's a pile of shit. So what it is Eyepal peep sighting system, perfect vision, hunting and target shooting. I don't think I'd use it for hunting. So it's got one picture it's got archery, next picture it's got a deer, next picture it's got a target. Guaranteed to work on any prescription or safety glasses. NRA CMP National Match Competition approved. Everything's in focus. Resident artists, whatever. Anyway, so all it is, it costs. I bought it here in Australia. It cost me 40 Australian dollars. You get two, and all it is just a piece of this really, really, really thin plastic, around about the size of a 10-cent piece, or I don't know. I suppose, yeah, Australian 10-cent piece, with a tiny little aperture that's probably about, how big is that aperture? Let me have a look. It's a tiny aperture. Come on, switch on. I'll tell you in millimetres. 0. It is probably about that. It's less than, it's probably about 1.5 millimetres. There, the aperture. Switch off. Yeah, so it's a tiny little hole, and what you do is you stick it on your glasses, and it's just electrostatically it just stays there, and it's really thin, so it's a real mongrel to peel off. I think they really should have designed some sort of tab that you can lift up to make it easier to take it off your glasses. So what this does is it reduces the amount of light that's actually entering your eyeball, and you are actually able to focus on the sights, the front, the rear sight, and your target at the same time. So if you're a person of with some sort of vision impairment, you know, of any kind. Well, I don't know about any kind, but you know, if you're short-sighted or long-sighted or blah, 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 whatever, just get this Eyepal, and it really does work. I don't know if I'd use it in a hunting scenario, but because I don't shoot square on, I shoot side on, so I'm actually looking at the side of my eye, right? Or I shoot pretty much side on, so I actually have it quite close to the bridge of the nose, and then when I look at it square on, I've got the rest of the glasses. So it's not. I suppose you could employ it in hunting. I still don't think I would, but hey, you never know. So yeah, it's not cheap, and it's just for a couple of pieces of round black plastic that's about, I don't know, 0.5 millimetre thick. It's really thin stuff, but yeah, you don't want it really big. But like I said, it's a bit of a pain in the ass to get off. Getting it on, you just stick it on there. Getting it off is a bit of a pain. It's like when you buy like a mobile phone or any device that's got a screen on it and you've got that protective plastic. That's what it's like. That really soft pliable plastic, that's what it's like. It's just pretty much a black version of that, and you know, whoever's the actual case, the actual jewel case probably costs more to make than the actual Eyepal itself. Actually, this bag probably costs more to make than the Eyepal itself, but you know, it works. So if you do have problems focusing on rear, front, and sight and target, get an Eyepal. I can't remember what site I got it from. Just Google it. You know, it was here in Australia, so yeah, people do stock it. I actually mentioned it at one of the gun shops, and the guy just looked at me and just went, "What?" He had no idea. You'd be surprised how ignorant some of the people who work in gun shops are. They have no idea. So, which is pretty sad. You know, it's pretty sad when you can go into a gun shop and go, you're getting paid to sell product, and I'm telling you about it, you've never heard of it, I'm telling you about it for the first time. That's not good. You know what you call that? That's called cronyism. That's where you go, I'll give my mate a job, even if he doesn't know what he's doing. Yeah, I see all that a lot. I work in the mining industry. The most cronyistic, nepotistic industry that I've ever worked in, quite honestly. I mean, there are people in positions that they should not be in because they couldn't organise a piss up in a brewery. Yeah. But anyway, enough of that whinging. So, the main points are that this is a fantastically accurate old rifle, 1895, that barrel. What a spin out. This rifle definitely has accuracy potential, but until I get that those Hornady cases and make some decent concentric rounds, I'm not going to do anything with it anymore. The other thing to take away, well, the main thing is stay away from Cellular and Bellow 303 brass. It's just take it straight to the scrap merchant. That's all it's good for, as far as I'm concerned. The Spear hot cores seem to perform better than the Hornady soft point interlocks, and what else? The Remington brass seems okay. Seems pretty good. It's not cheap, and I don't know. I actually mentioned it. I was using Remington brass at the gun shop, and he said, "Oh yeah, it's it's not great." Yeah, well, it's certainly a lot better than Winchester and Cellular and Bellow. So anyway, I've prattled on enough. I've got to go to work in a couple of days and shave all this off because it's a clean shaven sight. It's a lead sight, and they reckon that if you've got a beard or a mustache, you ingest a lot more lead. Yeah, right. Anyway, so until then, I'll see you later.